Hi, my name's Leighton Jin. I'm the Director of Development for AmDocs, the American Documentary and Animation Film Festival. And today we have a great filmmaker, and we're actually doing this international. This is Fabrizio. Fabrizio, can you tell us a little bit about your film? Well, first of all, I didn't want to butcher his last name. So, Fabrizio, can you give me your full name and then tell me a little bit about your film? I believe it's called Supertramp, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, actually, my full name is Fabrizio Gammardella. It's a bit tricky to pronounce, I know, because I spent 5 years in London and nobody could really pronounce it properly. So in the end, it was just Fabs. So it's way easier. Yeah, you don't need to, you don't need to try because I know it's tricky. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the short film is called Supertramp. It's a short film. It's a short animated film for children. It's a mix basically of 2D and 3D animation. Let's say 80% is 3D animation and 20% is 2D traditional animation. And it's literally the story of a tiny little girl that basically she rescues a dog from a rubbish bag, from a rubbish bin, and she takes you home. Her mom is happy to keep the dog. Dad, not so much. So the dog basically gets abandoned once again. So ends
Oh,
up on the street once again. And after many years, they manage to get reunited. Basically, once the after the dog goes through a crucible before actually being reunited with a little girl. She's now a teenager, but it's a tiny story, and I mean, so far people are loving it, which is which is good, 'cause,
it sounds like a beautiful film. What was the inspiration? What inspired you to make this, and what was the influence, or what influenced you to what influenced the story? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been an animal lover, to be honest. So this one is my third short animated film, and every time in each one that there's that there's an animal. It can be a dog, a piglet. I mean, so it's always something that fascinates. I think it's really fascinating the way we interact with animals, basically. And I thought, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, so many dog ends up on the street.
Mm,
And yeah, yeah, especially I don't know. I mean, this probably depends on the country, to be honest with you. I
mhm.
spent so many years in London. I didn't really run into too many stray dogs, but in Italy there are. I mean, there are so many. So it's something, unfortunately, they it is kind of a thing down here. So I've always wanted to tell a story of a stray dog that ended up basically on the street after being rescued. And actually, the tagline of the movie, it's sometimes destiny strikes twice, because he strikes it the first time when he gets rescued by the little girl, but then he ends up again on the street, and then he gets rescued once again, so twice. And I thought, this is a lucky dog. So I want to tell a story of a really, really lucky dog, because being rescued once is already, kind of, but twice it's probably, I don't know the odds, but twice it's a lot. I mean, by the same girl actually, so it's
Right.
even more complicated. Uh,
But it also seems to be a statement about the bonds people form
yeah,
with animals, like the little
yeah, yeah,
girl
yeah,
finding it several years later
yeah,
and still
yeah,
having
yeah,
that affection.
absolutely.
That's the beautiful part of what sounds like
Yeah,
of your movie.
yeah, absolutely. It comes full circle, basically. At the end of the day, that's exactly the thing. That was basically the main idea. Yeah, definitely.
So you say you like animals. How many animals do you own?
Well, at the moment, I got 5 cats and 2 dogs. I mean,
Oh,
at the moment, I said, as I mentioned, I spent so many years. I mean, I spent a lot of years in London, almost 6 years. I used to live in London, but in Italy and London, obviously, it's a big city, so I didn't really have the chance to keep any animal with me. But
mhm.
here in Italy, I live at the moment. I live in the south of Italy, almost in the countryside. Let's say it's almost countryside. So I have a lot of um, room for pets. It's definitely it's way easier, compared to London, where it's pretty much almost impossible. I mean, you have to pay to keep a pet, and it's a bit
Mm.
tricky, especially because in London you move a lot. So I literally changed. I think 8 places in 5 years. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's a lot of
definitely.
movement.
Especially, especially when you work as a freelancer, because obviously London is a big city, so it always comes down to whether you want to commute or not. And
Mhm.
commuting every day for a couple of hours from, let's say, southeast London to northwest London, I mean, it takes a toll on you. So you have to move when you find better job in a better area or in a different area. I mean, better, not necessarily, but so it was definitely tricky. I couldn't really do that. But now that I moved back to Italy, I've been here for a year or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go back to London, but here I can do it. So yeah. We got many, definitely many.
Hope your cats don't get jealous of this film.
Oh yeah. No. I have to mention this because the dog that we have in the movie, in the short film, I mean, it looks like precisely a dog we had many years ago. Then he passed away, but it's actually inspired to that dog. And it's weird because at the end of the day, I didn't really have an amazing relationship with him. I got to be honest with you. It was more like a love and hate relationship. So it was weird. But yeah, I mean, every animal, they have different personalities. I mean, it definitely they're all different. I mean, you can't really say that one is similar to another. I mean, they are not. So with that one, it was love and hate. It was more love than hate, obviously. But
Right.
yeah, after he passed away, I thought, you know what, he's gonna be the leading character this time around. I wanna do this for him.
Now, can you talk about your first two films?
Yeah, I mean, the first one was called Sissy's Dream. It was a tiny little short film, basically about a blind little girl that basically dreamed of flying. So her dream was to fly, but she was blind. So she has this dream where she can actually fly a dog, and it got inspired by. Oh my goodness, the movie. It's on the tip of my tongue. The Neverending Story,
Oh,
because in the Neverending Story, the I think it's Atreyu. I mean, yeah, both. They kind of fly on top of the sort of dog dragon. It's a mixture between the two.
oh,
So it was inspired. Yeah, it was inspired by the Neverending Story. And the other one, the other one is actually not for children. To be
okay.
honest, it's almost a horror, and it's the story of a kid who can turn himself into a piglet.
Mm.
But unfortunately, because of the tricky relationship between his parents, I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but he ends up being cooked by them on Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's a metaphor, obviously. It's a quite kind of a strong metaphor, about parenting, some of the things related to animal welfare at the end of
Mm.
the day. But again, that one is not for children, definitely. So completely different kind of completely different kind of movie. Which
Now,
is
any of these, what's that?
no, go ahead. No, nothing. Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, are there any plans to expand any of these films? Because I know this one's a short. I'm assuming the other two are short. You ever have any plans to expand them to make them a full length?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the plan, but it's not easy at all, especially for independent filmmakers as myself, because I'm an independent filmmaker. So on a daily basis, what I do, I'm a film editor. So I work basically on feature, short and feature film, but live footage. So working as an animation director has always been a passion of mine, and I'm trying as much as I can to um, I'm really trying to find a way to make a feature, but it's really tough because at the end of the day, a short film can take up to, I mean, 2 or 3 years.
Hmm.
But we're still talking about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, so it is still doable. It's tough, to be honest with you. It's really tough. I mean, to get the short film across the finish line, it took me so much time, so much money. But a feature, it would be a completely different kind of beast. I mean, to work on a feature, I probably think I need to find some funding. I need to find a proper, maybe a producer willing to come on board and to find and to finance the movie somehow. Because otherwise, I don't think it's gonna really happen. It's gonna really happen. I mean, not as an independent feature animated film.
Mm,
It would be really really tough. So.
yeah. Um, can you talk to me a little about animation? This is kind of a general question, but animation, obviously technology's changed quite a bit. And, I know it's taken a long time and a lot of money, but there's been several advances where there's a lot more people who can get an animation. What are your thoughts about where we are today with animation and how much the technology helps with the process?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the people you work with. So how much they want to rely on, different kind of tools that you can use. So it really depends the people you're working with. So if they are, let's say, hardcore animator, they really want to do everything from scratch, trying to keep everything as, let's say, traditional as possible, even if tradition doesn't mean anything. But that obviously, it's gonna definitely take longer to get the short film done, especially when you work with really skilled professionals. So in my case, I was really lucky because right from the beginning, I had the chance to work with an amazing animation supervisor,
Mhm.
and it's called Marco Latorre. And he has been involved over the past years in big movies like Avengers, Endgame, Spider-Man, Homecoming,
Cool.
that types of stuff. Yeah, that types of stuff. So it was tough because I mean he decided to get involved in an indie short film, which is pretty rare at the end of the day.
Mhm.
I didn't really think that that was going to happen, but in the end, he was willing to work on this, and he spent 3 years working on my short film,
Wow.
which is absolutely remarkable. But the process we went through was a different kind of process compared to the first two short film, where it was like you get rough animation, some feedback, and then let's say 2 or 3 rounds of tweaks, and the final shot is ready. Now in this case, it was maybe 30 rounds of tweaks before the shot was ready. So we really tried to raise the bar as much as possible. So again, it really depends what you're trying to do, and what kind of final outcome you're trying to achieve. That's the main thing, And it was a really really tough lesson that I learned, especially because 3D. I think probably maybe it's just my experience, but I think that 3D it's more complicated than 2D in terms of pre-production. So at the beginning, it takes way more time because you have to go through, modeling, rigging, shading. 2D, I mean, you can basically get started more quickly. So you,
Mhm.
you get the feeling that things are moving forward
Mhm.
with the animation. But with 3D, you pretty much get stuck into a stage for months, and you think, oh my God, I mean, it's never going to happen. I mean, we are not going to get it done. And I won't lie to you. Over the past 3 years, probably three, four times, I thought this is not going to happen. I mean, this time is not going to happen. It's just too complicated. But in the end, we managed to complete the film, and it's rewarding. It's really rewarding. I mean, you kind of feel that you made it. It's like, oh, okay, now I can relax for, I don't know, a few weeks before getting started again. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like a beautiful story. I think people are going to love it. What's in the future for you? You have any big plans yet?
Yeah, actually, we are already working on another short film, but this time, it's going to be the other way around. So I'm going to be the editor, and Mark is going to be the director. So now I'm working on his short film. So we
Oh,
are working on, yeah, we are working on a short film, a really lovely short film. We started a couple of months ago, so we are going through the, literally pre-production, trying to put an animatic together, but yeah. I mean, in terms of animation, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on a short film, and I'm planning to probably to produce another 2D short animated film. But then I think it's going to be the last one. Then I really want to try to find a way to make a feature. So the fourth one, I think it's going to be probably the last one, and then I
mhm.
think I'm pretty much ready to approach also to approach producers and to tell them, this is basically what I've done over the past 10 years for short films. We got into these and that film festivals. We won these at that award. So I think I'm going to be ready to approach people and trying to see whether we can actually make. I want to try to make a Supertramp feature film because I got already the script. So that would
Oh,
be an ideal, yeah, that would be an ideal, kind of sort of scenario for me because I got already the script, and I think it's pretty strong. But again, it's just my opinion. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. If I'm not the first one that believes in what he's doing,
right.
how can someone else, do the same? So I think it's a strong one, but obviously, it's kind of a long process, one step at a time.
Well, we're excited to watch your film. It sounds really lovely, and I'm excited to see it. Sadly, you're not going to be able, as of right now, you're not going to be able to make it out here. So we're sorry that we won't get a chance to meet in person. But we'll watch the film, and I anticipate you'll have a couple other invitations in the future. So hopefully, if not this time, hopefully we can get you out here in the future with your other films.
I mean,
Fabrizio,
fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Like again, we're looking forward to your film. For people who don't remember, it's March 21st to 25th at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. Thank you very much, Fabrizio.
Oh, thanks to you. Thanks to you.